Welcome to the player ratings episode. West Ham United 1, Aston Villa 1. Head over to our website and get involved and drop your player ratings for the game. So if you're new, subscribe to the channel, drop this video a like. So I'm going to share the screen with you now. So you want to go on utvpodcast.co.uk and you'll be going under Social Hub and you'll be clicking on player ratings. And this is your opportunity to drop your ratings for the game. So let's get straight on in there then. So we'll go with Emi Martinez. I felt like he did well at times when he came out and was relieving some pressure on the Aston Villa side. I thought like his kicking was better. He was delaying, he was waiting. So I felt like his kicking was decent. Penalty, he's a penalty monster, isn't he? But Ben Rama's penalty was just roof of the net fired in. So I'm going to give Martinez a solid 6. I'll be annoyed that he conceded, won't he? But, what can you do? I'm going to go for Moreno. I'm going to give Moreno I'm going to give him a 7. I'm going to give him a 7 because I felt like his delivery for Ollie Watkins' goal was tremendous. I felt like going forward, he offered a really good outlet. Again, we saw that we were more asymmetric, so he was higher on the left-hand side. So going forward, no qualms really. I felt like he did everything that he could in this game. Defensively, just lost Bowen a couple of times, didn't he? It was last-ditch defending, so that ball was going over the top. Because he was so high, that's an area where they can hurt Villa when Moreno goes high. But I felt like he defended well. We saw that Luca Dean then sort of replaced him as well, that normal like-for-like substitution. So, we'll go with a 7 for Moreno. Konsa is going to get a 7 for me, and Tyrone Mings is going to get a 7 for me. I felt like both of them had a really good game. They kept the high line. The organisation was there. We defended well off corners, apart from the one that we conceded where Bailey gave away a penalty. But I felt like all in all, they're doing really well in this system. They're working the ball well. They had solid games. They're looking back to the best. I would probably say this is the best Konsa and Mings have ever looked together, because I think they just look assured, they look dominant, they look commanding. Both of them now are playing out from the back really well. At the start, it was more of Mings taking the brunt of it, and Konsa was just doing sort of like the sideways stuff. But now we're seeing Konsa coming out from the back with the ball as well. So both of them had a really good game. Cash, I'm going to go a 6. We know that he's now been sort of curtailed in the way he goes forward. He's not being asked to go forward as much, but I think defensively he was okay. I can't really think of anything that he did wrong really, but I just think he didn't go forward too much, did he either? So maybe 6 is a bit harsh on Cash, but I think 6 is fair. Double pivot Dougie. That's not what I called him, by the way. Double pivot Dougie. I don't know why I've just called him that. It's a bit cringe. But Dougie in the double pivot, that sounds a bit better. We'll go with a 7 again. Some of these scores are quite high, but I think I'm looking at in the context of this game, what they did, how they played. I did feel like we dominated the ball. I think Dougie did have a really good game, and I think he did get a 7 performance. I think, whenever anybody watches my episodes when I do the transfer hubs, I like to look for a 7. I think a 7 is a solid, fair game. I think when you start getting 8, 9, 10s, you're starting to see goals, assists, real big energy level performances. I think for me, a 7 is... 6 is par for me. I don't think 5's par. I'd say 6 is par, 7 is above par, and I think that's what Dougie Luiz had. Buendia, I'm going to give him a 6. I felt like in the first half he did give the ball away a little bit. Second half he really grew into it. The moments when he started getting on the ball, he was turning, he was driving forward. That area where he sort of nearly won that penalty as well, that was where he was looking really, really dangerous. But it was a difficult game. There was no space in midfield at times. So I think a 6 is fair for Buendia. I think he did okay. He had a par game. So I think he was okay. My man of the match for me is going to be John McGinn. He's going to get an 8. I thought he was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Maybe deserves a bit more than 8. I thought McGinn was class. Off the ball, on the ball, he was everywhere. He's everything that I want McGinn to be: tenacious, determined, dogged. His little passes he was doing, he was turning, his spatial awareness. He had a really, really solid game in a position that he doesn't normally play, in a position that's really difficult to play in that double pivot. You're asking McGinn to do what Kamara does. One of the most silky defensive central midfielders in the Premier League at the minute. So tough job for him in a tough midfield against Rice and Souček, and I felt like he more than owned that midfield. I felt like he was brilliant. So a lot of credit for me. Ramsey, I'm going to give a 5. I just don't think he did enough for me. He was a bit of a passenger at times, I felt. And he's really searching for that form. And in fact, to be brutally honest, the 2 positions I do really feel like are up for grab in this Villa side. It's that left-hand side next to the double pivot, and it's that sort of wide top winger / forward area. Those are the 2 positions for me where I feel like we're lacking. If we had players in those areas, I think this Villa side would be absolutely transformed. So I'm going to go with a 5. Bailey. Where do we start? I think this is going to be the lowest score I ever give someone. A 3. Where do I start? I'll start with what I want to see, and then we'll get on to what we're not seeing. So, what are we expecting from this player that's playing just off the striker as a winger? So you're basically half winger, half forward. That's what he basically is. So he's being asked to stay out wide, to offer a threat out wide, but to also come in and support Watkins and play as a forward. So when you're playing in that role, what do you need to do? Pick up the ball and drive. Drive at the opposition player. Get into the box. So beat a man. Get a shot off. Get a cross in. Get an assist. Get a layoff. Get something. Defensively, you're going to have to then come back and help out in midfield a little bit. You're going to have to help support Cash at times. We're not seeing none of that. We're not seeing anything. We're not seeing goals. They've dried up. We're not seeing assists. We're not seeing him beat a man. We're not seeing him get into the box. We're not seeing him getting on the end of crosses. We're not seeing him getting in dangerous areas. We are literally playing with 10 players because he just doesn't do anything. And I'm so frustrated with him because I just don't understand what his mentality is or where he lies. I just really don't see it. I just watch the game, and every time he gets the ball, I'm just thinking, you're not going to do anything. And that's really, really harsh. But I have to be honest, I just don't see him doing anything. Every time he gets that ball, I'm just saying, go on then. Beat the man. Do some. And he just doesn't. And it's so, so frustrating. It's so frustrating to watch. Because we've seen what he can do. We've seen that he can put a perler in the top corner. But he's just so out of the game. It's like he's not there. So when you say, what has he done in this game? Well, if someone can legitimately tell me what he's done in this game, then I'll hold my hands up and say, okay, I missed it. I missed what he did. I missed what he does. Because I'm just not seeing it. I'm just really not seeing it. So he's getting a 3 for me because what did he do to get a par score? He didn't do anything. So frustrating. And I said in the match reaction that if we had this out-and-out winger that can offer this outlet, this ability to just create and be a driving force to the team and be a catalyst when it gets tough, and we've just really got that outlet. I think away from home in that performance against West Ham, it probably would have been the difference, but because we don't have it, it's really difficult. If you stand Bailey up and you double up on him or you stand him up, he'll just run into a blind alley. Sorry that I've ranted. But it's just frustrating me. Like, I'm a Villa fan and I have to just show my emotion because that's what this channel's all about. You guys do it in the comment section. I get to do it on a podcast and on a YouTube fan channel. So that's just where I am. I've got no agenda whatsoever for any Villa player. If you perform bad, then I'll tell you that you're bad. So just like I've said that Ramsey's played bad, but at least I see Ramsey sort of driving at times, getting on the ball, trying to make things happen. I'm just not seeing it with Bailey. Watkins will go an 8 as well for his finish. I felt like his finish was just class, absolutely class. Like, you know, it was a brilliant finish. You know, he got no right to score that header. He makes that header off a really good cross. I felt like he was a really willing runner, always in the right areas. You know, he helps out the team a lot. He holds the ball up well. He drives us forward. You know, he could have done better with that little snapshot that he had as well. So he gets an 8 because I felt like he was really good. We'll go with Traore when he came on. I'm going to give him a 6. I felt like he was 10 times better than Bailey. But again, did I ever feel like he was ever going to sort of score an assist? Not really, but he did create stuff. So again, I think he was a lot better. He offered a threat down that right hand side. So again, he's coming back into the side. More to come. I want to see more from Traore, but he did offer us a threat. Luka Dean, when he came on, I think there was one moment when he let, I think it was obviously Bowen go over him. So go over his head and he lost him, and that could have been chaotic. So I'll give him a 5. Ashley Young, when he come on, he's going to get a 7 for that block that he made. It was an absolute fantastic block on that shot that was going to go in. And I'm going to go with Duran. I'll give Duran a 6. I'll give Duran a 6. He was good again when he came on. I like him. He's one of those players that wears his heart on his sleeve. He's creating stuff. He got a shot off. He could have done better with that other shot that he had as well. His hold-up play was decent as well. So, really impressed with Duran so far. Want to see more of him, so I want to see him getting more minutes. Chambers, we'll go 5. I can't really remember Chambers doing too much either. So I'll calculate the average scores of Villa fans on the right-hand side. So those are my scores. So some of mine are, 7s and there's 6.9s. What's Watkins got 7 for Watkins. Traore's got an average of a 6. Duran's got a 5.4. So, averaging a 5 or a 6. What's Bailey's average? Bailey's average is a 3.3. So, I guess you're all thinking what I'm thinking as well. So, there's my player ratings. I want you to go on and drop your player ratings. Thanks everyone that's been supporting the channel. Let me know what you think of my ratings. And so we'll see you soon. We'll see you next up. Will be the debrief, where we'll have a more in-depth look at what went on at West Ham with all the stats and player graphics and everything like that. So cheers for supporting. Up the Villa.